I'm A.Van. Welcome to my POL. You see me sitting here in front of a camera, and you're probably thinking, I wonder what they did. I wonder what's for dinner. Did I click on a really bad attempt at stand-up comedy? Or perhaps even, what do these comments have to do with the overall presentation? Well, for starters, I wrote, and am still writing, a novel called Portal Searchers, Book 1, Falling. I intend for this book to be part of a 7-book series with a 3-book sequel series. Let's just say the ambitions are ambitioning. I have written up to chapter 17, and I am currently working on chapters 18, 19, and 20. Chapters 21 and 22 are not yet in production, but I am writing other stuff aside from this, so it's, taking a while. I actually first started this story back in my 6th grade year, and it's 4 years old now. It's a toddler. It's got teeth. It's got so many teeth. Whew. Secondly, I don't know what you're having for dinner, sorry, but may I recommend some premium soy sauce? Not sponsored. Or perhaps some sweet relish, also not sponsored. Third, this isn't a stand-up show. I don't think Mr. Daly would have let me record it if it was a stand-up show, but I'm, recording it, so, yeah. And finally, I'd say there's like a 50-50 chance that all of these sentences are, in fact, irrelevant, but hopefully they worked as the hook I intended them as, and now you're paying attention. Thanks to my epic writing tactics. So, now that you're listening, I'll tell you that Portal Searchers is a fantasy novel about 2 characters, Nico and Emerite, who have to go explore through alternate dimensions to find magical items to prevent an evil force from taking over. Because you know how evil forces just love to take over everything, like all of the time. I built their world and many others from pretty much the ground up. I'm great at starting things and not so great at finishing them, but that's not what this is about. Maybe next year. Who knows? So what did I learn from this project this year? I learned I work better on my own. Less waiting for others to fulfill their role that I need them to move forward. For the record, that is a blanket statement. That's not just about writing. That's just like about life in general, including math class. Shout out to Mia and Kate. I'm sorry for being like 1.5 problems ahead of you all the time and for the group project. This project, Portal Searchers, is a continuation from last year, like I said, started in 6th grade. Except last year, I had a co-author. This year, my co-author left the project to do their own. I never held it against them. People have their own paths to walk. We are besties. Go watch their video, because they're still in this class this year. It's COD. Go watch COD's video. It's a great time. I just, this year, had to write on my own officially. COD wasn't all that involved last year. More of a hamburger hindrance than a hamburger helper, if you will. I feel like I got more done this year, though. Like, I didn't have to wait for them to do what they wanted. I didn't need to pause to double check plot point for agreement. I didn't need to just get stuck in that loop. You know, that friendship loop where you're, like, just talking about random stuff, and then 80 minutes go by, and you're like, oh, shoot, we did not actually write anything today. Oh, no. That's not good. But it was sort of, freeing to just go at it, get into the flow state. Moving at a speed I was more comfortable with allowed me to write a ton on my own. But that led to some other issues that I had to work through, mainly my ongoing duel with perfectionism. I had to remind myself often that it's my project, my world, my book, pretty much. I can put basically whatever I want in it. I shouldn't have to be worried about being taken seriously based on the plot of the story or certain aspects of the plot. Rather, how I handle said plot and make it work with the overall story. It helped me make my characters feel more like my characters. My little guys. My little slices of myself that I took and I put in a fantasy situation. I got to show their humor and personality more, which was largely based on my own humor and some of my personality. And this, being freed by not really caring as much about being taken seriously has also extended to my interests, such as the shows that I'm interested in or my art. It doesn't matter if these things are a little cringy. Cringe died last decade. Shout out to those of you who feel old when I say cringe died last decade. You made it, I guess. I don't know. I'm only a sophomore. I don't know about, like, being an adult at all, really. The perfectionism also ties into the fact that sometimes I feel like, and felt like then, less so now than then, but, lingers a bit. Feels like I need to have the exact evolution of all the creatures planned out, have every minute detail of the world carefully examined and written down or stored in my brain or texted to my friends at odd hours of the night, such as 3 a.m. realizing how I could put a song reference into an English project. I have an interest in stuff like evolution and linguistics, thankfully, but I shouldn't break my brain over making everything work perfectly, cohesively, fully planned out. I'm not Tolkien. I don't have a degree in anything yet. He had a degree in linguistics, which is why there's like so many details in his languages. I'm also not like a god or capital G God, whatever your beliefs may be. If you don't believe in God, slay. Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird tangent. The aspects that I haven't had the time, energy, know-how to fill in are spaces for my, hopefully, future readers to fill in with their own minds and ideas and have that be part of the experience of reading. Not all of it, because I still have a lot of world building done, because I do enjoy it. And I have faith in my audience that they can take what I've made and expand upon it if they feel the need to. These two things have come up in life outside of my project, outside of this writing. I am in the Dungeons & Dragons / role-playing games club at the school, D&D / RPG club for all y'alls who know the acronyms. As a game master, the one who runs / directs / plans the game. Oh wow, shocker. And these mindsets, these different ways of not being perfect, have really helped me improve my skill of like actually running the games. Fun fact for people who have not played D&D, your players are unhinged and will try to break everything in your game. This includes the plot, physics, sanity, yours, theirs, some NPCs, bones. All the bones. Probably not the ones in the real world, but many, many bones. Sticks sometimes, and rocks. Sticks and rocks. Yeah. I love my current group and my past group dearly. They're great. But you will have to improvise, and it will be totally worth it. But accepting that my plot isn't going to be planned out to the smallest detail was hard. With this project, though, I'm now able to pull plot lines out of thin air. I'm not worried about perfection, and any plot hole that they point out, because if they don't point it out, you can just keep going, life hack, can be turned into a plot twist later. Or you can just look at them like, I have had so much homework this week. Just go with it. Just go with it. Use the theater rule of yes and. I'm not perfect at accepting my imperfections, though. Fun fact. I don't know what that was. Fun fact. Perfect is actually just a tense in Latin. That just means complete. And because humans are always growing and changing, there's no way to ever be, like, completed. So, yeah. Don't try to be perfect because it's unattainable, because it's a Latin tense. And you're a human person, not a Latin tense. All throughout this year, the majority of my writing was done in class. Outside of class, I was, as mentioned, doing D&D, partaking in the theater program, both the fall show and the spring show. I was Farrah the Fairy in the fall show this year, and then I was in crew for the spring show. I got to put a chair on stage. It's very exciting. And, just having a social life, hanging out with my friends, being a teenager. Yeah. Sometimes it felt like I wasn't writing enough. Like I wasn't doing as well as I could. Sometimes I just couldn't write due to the executive functioning issues from my ADHD, which are not fun. But you learn to deal with it, or you don't survive in school. That dread of imperfection tended to hit during times, and it still does hit, just during times that I was doing things that weren't writing, or if it's not for writing, it's just not doing whatever I thought I had to be doing. Times I was either engaging with my stories in other ways, such as drawing, brainstorming, staring at the wall for like an hour straight, trying to figure out a plot hole, taking like a weird meditative nap, and then waking up like, oh my god, vampires, what if they had snake teeth? So the vampires in one of my worlds have snake teeth. Fun fact. Taking a break after school, like just like watching a show or something, or even mid-history homework. Not recommended to have a questioning of your ability to do things while doing history homework. You'll end up writing sentences such as Thomas Jefferson, the Jeff, the myth, the Jeff. Actually, that's one of my highlights from history class this year, I will admit. Sometimes my mom pushed me to write. Sometimes that worked, and sometimes that just killed all of my motivation, while also instilling a ton of guilt. May also be the source of my perfectionism issues, but this is not the time nor the place to get into that. It hurt. I hated it, and I hated myself for not reaching the extremely high standards that I set for myself. I had to fight through my need to be perfect, need to be constantly working towards some final achievement so far off that it probably doesn't exist. I'm gonna be real. There is no final goal except be happy, I guess. Which I am, but the work doesn't always lead there, and it's like a whole thing. And all through that, my writing remained. All of it, not just this project, like the 60 unfinished works I have in multiple different universes. Oops. It was both and escape and the lessons that I'd learned. Lessons that I try to remind myself don't just apply to my writing. I don't have to have every little moment of every day filled with lore. I can just exist. I don't have to be constantly working on my writing or otherwise. I can just take a moment to breathe. I just can enjoy existence. I'm living my life, and that's what matters. I'm watching a show I like, and That's what matters. I'm organizing the wood storage area backstage. I'm having fun, and that's what matters. I'm doing hashtag, oh please, the bookmark in here for a reason, art. And that's what matters. I'm alive, and that's what matters. After all the challenges, mainly presented by my own mind, I'd like to think that I was doing this whole writing a novel thing the right way for me. I think it really hit during exhibition night, while I was standing in the middle of my English teacher's classroom, 8:15 p.m., post showing off my work to the world, in a cloak, because obviously I'm going to wear a cloak to that. And like any good final page of any good novel, it's time for the hard-hitting final line, which hopefully for my own story I will get to one day write. At the end of all of this, nonsense, tomfoolery, agony, crying, taking a nap, crying more, maybe eating a snack in there, looking at memes for 3 hours by mistake. After all of the joys, the agonies, the not on task for this project or for other things, and using this project as a way to procrastinate those other things. Fun fact, you can do that. I realized writing is as much about putting words on paper as it is about living your life. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've watched all the way through. If you did watch all the way through, hold on. I have a jester hat. Shout out to my co-writer from last year, Cod. Watch their video. Watch my video from last year if you want some art and some more details about all the other projects that I have, because that's a slideshow without my face in it. I'm still not super comfortable with my face on the internet, but hopefully it's okay. Shout out to Mr. Daly for the Life Design Lab, and Mr. Madden too, though I don't really know him that well because he teaches the 3s and 4s. Shout out to everyone who actually keynoted and didn't just do a video, because y'all slayed if you're watching this. Shout out to anyone who's watching this who has ADHD. Also, it's June. Happy Pride Month. Shout out to everyone for Pride Month. Shout out to my mom giving me premium soy sauce. This is just the shout out section. Shout out to my history teacher, because she's actually really great, and she didn't look at me weird after I wrote the Jeff, the myth, the Jeff on an assignment. And shout out to you for making it this far in the video, seeing my epic jester hat, and hopefully having a good time. You know, this one's actually shorter than last year. Last year I spent 30 minutes. It was supposed to be 10 minutes. This was supposed to be 6 minutes. It's about 3 times that. I'm so good at this. Yeah. See you in the future, in the past, at some point. Have a blast. Bard hat. Yeah.